What's the overriding emotion, Chris?
Oh, it's hard to describe. Even after taking a moment to compose myself before I spoke on stage, I still missed what is arguably the most important point, which is recognising. I recognise that it's modern footy is a product of a big group of people coming together to get success, and I overlooked a few of the key players that have just been so good for us this year. The decision to not play Max Holmes when he'd been so critical for us this season was just brutal. And our medical staff are elite, and they got him to the point against all the odds where he probably could have played. And the decision was nuanced, but we just felt with quality players like Brandon Parfitt and Sam Menegola and Mark O'Connor there, that we just couldn't take the risk and put the rest of the team in jeopardy. So for Max, I just feel desperately, and that's extended to Sam Menegola is just one of the great people you meet in footy. Asava Radigali has been huge for us this year. Cooper Stevens played a lot. I shouldn't individualise because I forget some, but it's struck me in my time in footy that the joy of grand final days when you win is just off the charts. But we should spare a moment for those people that have worked so hard to get us to this point, and may well be feeling that they haven't been as integral as the guys that got the chance to take the field, and it's just nothing could be further from the truth. So sorry for taking so long to linger on that, given it was the thing foremost in my mind, and I forgot to say it post game. I thought I'd start with that.
Does this feel like a victory for persistence over a 10-year period? You've just kept going to the well time and time again. It's probably been several times along that journey where a lot of us have said, "Oh, that's it. They've got to start again" or whatever. But you just keep presenting.
Yeah, and I get it. I don't think I've ever argued with it. I've stopped listening for long periods, and that's helped me, and us, I think. And we fully recognise that we've taken a contrarian view around list rebuilds and list management in general, and our attitude towards fossils like the bloke next to me. But we've never had any intention of trying to prove people wrong or argue against their point of view. Their point of view was logical, for the most part. But it does feel like it's been a really long, challenging road. I think we've been consistent. I think it feels as if it's been a bit of a cruel game because we've done everything we could to give all our people a chance, and with that comes great emotional risk if you don't get it done at the end of the season. And hopefully, even for those people that struggled with us over the journey, like this is for them too. We get it. But I'm not even sure what the question was now, but the last thing that I want to do is sort of dwell too much on the last 10 years. This has kind of been something that we should enjoy in the moment, which has kind of been a bit of a theme for us anyway. And yeah, the time to reflect over the last decade may well come later.
Chris, congratulations. What did you see early in the game that made you think we're going all right today?
There are a few things. It's gratifying as a coaching group when you spend so much time talking about different what-ifs and trying to set the game up so that we could play our style of footy. And that's sort of the challenge of the modern game. If it's with the quality of the opposition these days, if the game's played their way, you're in trouble. So some of our guys in and around the centre bounce did a great job to get the ball forward, and sort of we kind of got the matchups we want. We got the look of the game that we wanted early, which I suspect gave our players some confidence as well. It's nice when you go out saying, okay, this is what it will look like if we have the game on our terms, and pretty early on that's how it appeared to us. Maybe Isaac can expand on it.
I think Ash was asking you the question.
Okay.
You've both played under great captains. This can be for either of you. Where does Joel Selwood rate amongst those people?
I've been very fortunate to be captained by Joel, although I've only spent 2 years with him. Probably what's blown me away with Joel has nothing to do with his football, and I'm sure Scotty would back this up. He's one of the most humble, respectful, genuine people you'll ever meet, and I remember, and he mentioned it when we were out on the ground today, he called me when I was in Noosa, and that was the overwhelming emotion I got through that conversation and the feeling, and he's been nothing but that. So to me, football aside, it's irrelevant. He's just a genuine good guy.
When you joined Geelong, Isaac, did you join them thinking you could win a premiership? Obviously not an Oscar, but was that your kind of motivation?
Well, it'd be silly to say no.
No, you know what I mean? Was that why you went there?
Yeah, it was a big reason. I had a few chats with Chris, and I really liked his philosophies about how he goes about it. The way they treat their players, they're very respectful of them, and their lives outside of football. That was a big thing. And the other thing was I just wanted to learn from an unbelievable organisation. Probably them, Sydney, Hawthorn, which I was fortunate to be a part of for many years. And I'm sure I'm missing one or two other clubs, have been the benchmark in the 21st century. And learning off people like Scotty, Lloydie, Sel, Hawk, and I'm going to miss people. Hawk's back at the club now. It's a great place to be, and I feel like I'm the lucky one.
I think Richmond and Melbourne have been pretty good.
Oh, yeah, they've
too.
been good as well, yeah. I told you I'd miss someone.
Yeah, and can I just expand on what Isaac said? And he's, from a personal perspective, I owe Isaac to an extent, because I would completely understand if he didn't buy what we were selling a couple of years ago. It was easy, as Rowan alluded to kind of listen more to the people on the outside that thought that our time was over. So there was some trust and some faith in the sort of things that we said we could deliver for him. And again, I'll always be appreciative of that.
This was the oldest, I think someone said it was the oldest side ever put on the park in footy history. 10 guys over 30.
Love that.
Well, all us old people love that. But I mean, the experience was clearly so critical in the opening to the game. I mean, Isaac's kicked 2 in the first quarter. Tom kicked a couple, Blitzarves, Selwood's first quarter. Is your side going to perhaps rewrite the popular thinking on what's too old in footy? Because you're just so good.
I'm not sure. It's for others to work out. I think what we've been over the last probably 10 years, and I need to tip my cap to Andrew Mackey, recently, but in particular Stephen Wells over a long period of time. My relationship with those guys has just been, it's been so good to the point where we could have conversations, sort of spitballing ideas that weren't popular. And we've come to the point where no one in our club I would describe as being overconfident. We certainly had our moments where we would sort of question what we were doing, and there were plenty of people that were keen to remind us that it was different to the way other clubs go about it. So even now I kind of think we'll just sort of try to do us, and others can kind of work out the way they want to go about it. But please, if you hear anything that even approaches "I told you so," check me on it, because it's just not the way we feel. We knew we were taking some risks, but we backed it in and trusted our people, and as Isaac sort of mentioned, tried to provide a great environment for people, not just players, but make it a place that is enjoyable to come and ply your trade, and back in that good things will flow off the back of that.
I know you don't like looking back too much, but can you talk to your development as a coach between the last leg in 2011 and you obviously first year in and now in 2022, how you've grown? Yeah,
I'll speak really briefly, because you're right. I don't like talking about myself, and I don't think it's about me at all, but I feel so fortunate. I said pre-game, sort of, Chris Johnson asked me a question that I wasn't expecting. He said something to the effect of, "I've heard you talk about the privilege that is associated with coaching Geelong. Why is that?" And the first thing that occurred to me was, well, I've just been so fortunate. I'm a huge believer that, the sliding doors moments and the success that people have in their life aren't all, they're doing. If Lee Matthews hadn't have decided to come and have a go coaching Brisbane in 1999, I wouldn't be here. And the same was true when I started at Geelong. They took a punt on a 34-year-old coach who'd been an assistant for a few years and effectively had no idea what he was doing. But they didn't say, we're going to throw you to the wolves and see how you go. They shepherded me through. And that's continued over the last 10, 12 years as well. I'm just, again, I won't, but I could refer to other examples of people that haven't had the opportunity that I've had in my footy life. And I've had my moments throughout the last probably, through the whole sort of 10 or 11 years, I think. It is a difficult thing to do, but to achieve great things in life, the adversity is going to be there. So I think the overwhelm. I said I wasn't going to speak for them. You're used to this. I just feel grateful for the opportunity I've had, and I'm a better person than I was 10 or 12 years ago, in large part because of the Geelong Footy Club.
How about yourself, Isaac? Is this one satisfying in a different way to you compared to three previous?
Yeah, it is. I was fortunate, and we'll probably talk on the sliding doors moments, to go to Hawthorn, and we had a great side there, and we won 3 flags. But I've matured a hell of a lot since then. I've now got 2 young kids. To be able to share a lot of that with Isla out on the field today was awesome. And I'm not kidding myself, I don't have long left. So to be able to do it in the latter stages of your career is pretty special. And I've said this earlier in a few interviews, but the reason I play football is to get great relationships and great friends, and no one can take this away from this group, and we'll be now connected for life. So to me, that's the best thing to come out of it.
You seem to be someone who's always tries to make other players better. How does it feel to be the star today and to win the award for the best player?
Yeah, it certainly doesn't fit comfortably with me. I feel a little bit silly and a bit awkward because these things don't happen to me. We've got a star-studded side and blokes that have huge lists of personal accolades, and that's probably one thing I've prided myself on my career, is to help others and make others better. But I was fortunate enough today to win it, and I'm sure I'll sit back in a few years' time with a nice bottle of Grange or something and think about it.
Your shout or mine?
You can shout it, you're on more money than me.
You'd be surprised. Sorry, Pete. Yeah, I shouldn't speak for him, but I'll broaden it a little bit. There are some people over the last maybe 5 to 7 years that have really changed our footy club, and Pat's at the forefront of that group. And I mean, I would argue that even if it weren't for today, he has just been an outstanding success on every measure. And the on-field is not the biggest part of it. He's just been a treasure for our footy club, and I think in the back of his mind, he was really driven to achieve this team outcome. But I reckon he would have been okay if he didn't get there, because you can't measure your life that way, in my opinion. He has, again, I'll just be forever in his debt for coming back, and also whoever's responsible for him being born in Moggs Creek. I mean, because again, his parents probably. But we're under no illusions. He didn't come back because he thought, the Cats are such a great footy club and they've got an awesome group of people. He came back because he's so connected to Moggs. But what he's given to the Geelong community was always the biggest win, in my opinion. And today's the capstone. It's not kind of the bulk of the work that was done prior.
And how significant is the shift that obviously a different coaching group, a lot of change in the footy department, different CEO, all those things. Was that the basis for what happened today, as opposed to the last few years?
No. This has been a long time coming, and the COVID stuff knocked everyone around. But and I can only speak from our club's perspective, but we lost some great people, and hopefully they sit back and have a quiet drink tonight, and feel a bit of the glow that comes with the contribution that you make to team success. So we lost some coaches in the moment, like James Raleigh springs to mind for me. He's just a great footy person, and then for various reasons, last year we lost Matty Scarlett and Matthew Knights and Corey Enright, two of them. Well, they're all three of them. Matty Knights was around for over a decade, so they're all great Geelong people, and they just put so much work into shaping, who we are now, and it's just wrong. It's in my opinion, it's a bit like sort of talking about the 22 that played today and giving them all the accolades. We talked from October, I reckon, about the need for a big squad and everyone playing their role and taking their turn. So the last thing that I would like to say, as much as Sean Grigg and James Kelly, Nigel Lappin in particular, sort of the guys that work closest with me. I should put Steve Nichols and Jason Lappin in that group as well. I'm in awe of the work they've done. They have been amazing, but it'd be wrong to say that they changed completely what we were prior. The people prior should take, as I said, great. I don't know what the word is. I doubt it'd be jubilation, but hopefully they appreciate how appreciative we are.
Did you ever think of just not going back to the well, like if the disappointment you've spoken about of how hard it is, did it ever enter your head, I can't do this?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah, but I suspect it does with players as well. Like you have those moments, but I think it's kind of metaphor for life, really. If you want to do great things, don't expect it to be smooth sailing. You're going to have to shake hands with adversity at some point, and if you can hang in with no guarantee that you'll get the ultimate success, it might be worth it.
I know it's pretty early to start thinking ahead, but psychologically, does the approach change now? You've sort of climbed the summit. It's an old group. How do you sort of keep them hungry and keep them ready to win more?
Come on, Ray. Give us a couple of hours.
You get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You can ask.
It depends how you frame it, Rowan. Like, I suspect a lot of people jump to the older guys, and my experience was when you win one. I know this is Isaac's. The idea of doing it again is quite appealing. But, geez, I don't think it'd be that hard to motivate Sam De Koning, and Tom Atkins and Jack Henry and Zach Guthrie, Max Holmes, Radigalia, Cooper Stevens. It's a long list. So, average age, terrible measure, by the way, of an age of a football club, just to give you a bit of an insight into the way we think. But, so how do we do it? Well, I think the first thing is to, enjoy the moment. Like, it's hard to get. I had been involved in a premiership before where 3 days later I was immersed in what we were doing in pre-season. I'm not doing that again. That was a mistake. Like,
Do you mean in 2011?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So how long are you going to enjoy this one for?
Well, I don't know, but even if it's a while, I won't compromise. Stop me if this is a bridge too far. But I mean, I'm a tennis fan, and I watched one of the great Australian Open finals of all time with Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. And I remember saying to the players once, maybe before Isaac's time, to see those guys speak with such grace and humility post-game, irrespective of which one was the winner and which one was the loser, but then to know the next time they play, do you reckon because they were so graceful they're going to try any less? Like, that's who I want to be. I'm going to get to Rafa or the Feds level, but that's what I aspire to, and I think that's what we're going for as well, isn't it?
I think so.
Did you share with us a little bit about the emotion of
My pop, who I was very close to, and he had a lot to do with the person I am today. My dad's father passed away on Wednesday night, so it hit me last week probably, and that's why I probably didn't get a touch for the first half of last week's prelim. But I made a mad dash to Albury and spent 24 hours with him, and I'll be forever grateful that he was still mentally there, and we had a great 24 hours together. And although it was very upsetting, it's been a beautiful time for our family.
Do you think it drove you to the level you were at today?
Oh, who knows? Who knows? Oh, no, you're all right, mate. I don't know. I don't win awards like this often, so or ever. So maybe he did, but yeah, looking forward to getting with the family next week.
Just curious, this is your 5th grand final. Has the preparation got easier with each one? Like, did you feel more relaxed in this one than the previous one? And
yeah, I think the only time I got nerves this year was I got stuck in the lift for 15 minutes at the hotel this morning, and I thought, oh, shit, might not make it. The technician said he was an hour away, so fortunately the doors opened. But yeah, I've sort of taken the approach, and I'm not sure if this has been reflected on the group, but I feel like the group is now a lot more relaxed group, and we approach games with a certain level of composure, and I feel like that helps the way we play.
Can I just recognise one more group of people before we leave? Our medical staff this year have done a phenomenal job. We started the year with some bad luck off the back of a really optimistic pre-season with a lot of work and pretty good health, and we just had a series of unlucky injuries, ankle syndesmosis injuries, contact injuries, those sort of things that probably held us back a little bit in the first half. And we've had some people come into our club again, like it's a period where my overwhelming emotion is gratitude, and there's no way we would be here without those people. It's difficult to explain how influential a few of them in particular have been in our success. So when we think about Isaac's individual success, the feeling I've got now, my head goes straight to those guys. It is. Well, we had suspicions that they would deliver what they have, but this is beyond my wildest expectations. Even Max Holmes getting to the line, it was, for most people it would have been a hard no, and I suspect he could have played. Jeremy Cameron getting through, after the year he's had last year, and it's not just the people that have come in this year; it's been over a long period of time as well. So I just wanted to say on the record how thankful I am to those people.
Thanks, fellas.